Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live and another question and answer Friday. Always great to be with you and always wonderful to say hello to a few folks. And we'll do that this morning. Good morning as you get your notifications and come on. Brahim, believe it or not, you're number one on the hit parade today. Andrea, number two, Niagara Falls. Nick from our staff. Mike from Norland. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on. Mary, how is ya? And I missed there. Fenwick, who was that? Regina. See, it goes up into my cloud. Kevin. John, how are you? And Bill, and Sherry, and Gertie, how are you? Burlington, Jeanette, and Chantal, Ottawa, good morning. Andrea, Nouveau Brunswick, and Linda, good morning. Crystal, Alliston, and Jody, good morning. Carol, West Virginia. Mountain Mama, and I missed another one. Karen and Fran from Orangeville, good morning. Wendy, London, Ontario, and Karen. I'm missing guys, and when it gets up higher, I can't see it. Guylaine, Catherine, and Deneen LaSalle, good morning. Dawn, how are you? Dayton, Ohio. Donna and Kathy Leamington and Rose, good morning from Brampton. Terry, Rupert, British Columbia. Faye, good morning from Quebec. Sheila, Sudbury. Sharon, good morning. And Brenda, New Brunswick. Linda, we love our Lindas. Lori, Cambridge. And Rosa, Montreal. Good morning, Rosa. Julia, Manitoulin Island. Cecilia, Sudbury. And Mara, good morning. Faithful followers. And Renee, how are you, Renee? Veronica, good morning. Bonnie, good morning to you. Georgie, Halifax. Thanks for ordering the new book. You'll enjoy it. Debbie, Janice. Sing, Janice says, Rita. Be careful what you wish for. Okay? Brenda Campbell River, British Columbia, and Karen Lighthouse Cove. Jenny, good morning to you. Julia. Okay, we got a lot of questions. Let's get going. Renee, Newfoundland. Okay, let's get to our questions, guys, and we appreciate all of you following us. Marianne, many years ago, I was told I had a severe allergy to iodine. Okay. So what are you asking? In more recent years, I've read humans are not really allergic to iodine. Well, let me tell you this, Marianne, it's very rare. Okay, it's very rare. I can't remember ever thinking or seeing a patient that was allergic to iodine. You need iodine, but hey, Marianne, look at your fingerprint. See that? There's 8 billion. Do you know that we hit 8 billion people this year on our planet? 8 billion, okay? And I'm going to tell you something about your fingerprints. You got one that's unique. Doesn't make you weird, just makes you unique. And you might be, Marianne, allergic to iodine. To be honest with you, I can't say I've ever heard of it. But if you are, you're asking, can I take the thyroid formula? Well, we got iodine in there. I wouldn't take it if you're truly allergic to it. Okay? Good question, though. Joanne is asking a very good question. You know what she's asking? Can you explain the different route that water takes. I like that. I like that. And very few people ever talk about that. Okay? And I'm telling you that water, when you drink water, it goes directly to your bloodstream. Okay? How does it do that? Well, when it goes down the esophagus and then hits the stomach, it doesn't take the circular route. It goes directly down the right-hand side of your stomach and directly to your small intestine in 5 seconds or less. And it's in your blood. Now, yesterday, I think, or the day before, can't remember, we talked about, watermelon, for example. Is watermelon good for you? Yeah, sure. I like watermelon. And watermelon is water. Lots of it, right? Did I say it's no good for you? No, I didn't say that. But it's not water. Coffee is 95% water. And coffee is great for you. But it's the coffee in it that's great for you, okay? Water is wonderful. You need to drink it. Now, I'm not saying that watery fruits or whatever are not good for you. I'm not saying that. But they take a different route. It takes longer. They're being processed. When you eat a food, it's processed. It goes through the stomach acid. And it has to be broken down. Water doesn't have to be broken down. Water goes whoop, right to your bloodstream. Okay? And it don't take long for the effect of water. Why? Because you're designed that way. You're designed that way. And you're like the ocean. Excuse me. You're like planet Earth. Okay? Planet Earth is what? 75% water? When you look at our planet? Your body is 75% water. Your blood vessels are 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Your body is so fearfully and wonderfully made, when you drink water, the blood moves. It's always going to move, but you make your heart work that much harder if you're not drinking water. This is why I classify water as a vitamin. You can't live without it. And when you do the reset, I try and get people to not drink anything else but water and coffee. If you really want to do a detox, you drink water and coffee. Coffee will clean your liver. Okay? But water washes. Water washes. Your lymphatic system even. Your lymphatic system. It needs water. Now your body, if you don't drink enough water, you know what your body does? It steals it. It'll steal water from everywhere. Your body's smarter than we are. And you look at people, okay, I use this example, and I know I'm off on a little tangent, but that's me. You know what diabetes does? Or, elevated glucose, even if it's not diabetes. Your body's smart, so it says, oh, you got sugar in the bloodstream that's higher than it should be. And insulin, its job is to get it out of there. But in the meantime, you know what your body does? It'll dehydrate you to make so that you have more water in the blood to neutralize that sugar. So this is why when people used to come into my office, I would look at their skin. And you'd see, real dry patches in their elbows and their heels, very dry skin around their ankles and that. I said, well, your glucose is high. You're into a pre-diabetic state. What? How can you tell that by looking at my skin? Because your body's dehydrating, because your body is robbing water from your skin. Your body will rob water from your bones. That's why it's so important that you drink it. And here is the sweet spot of water. 2 liters are 64 ounces. That's the sweet spot. How do I know that? 50 years just about of practice. That's the sweet spot. Some need more. If you're sweating lots, if you're exercising, blah, blah, blah. But in my opinion, none need less. And don't wait till you're thirsty. Don't wait for that. You're severely dehydrated if you're thirsty. Drink 2 liters of water. What's the best water? Spring water. I never thought in my lifetime when I was a kid that I'd ever pay to drink water. But you got to pay one way or another, because if you're drinking it out of a tap and you're not using a filter, you're making a mistake. There's too many chemicals, too many toxins in water. So you got to pay for it one way or another. Either filter it. I like spring water because it's full of minerals and better for you. Okay, but water's water. Okay, Marianne, how did I get to that? Oh, no, that was Joanne. Stephanie. Does Dr. Martin like glutamine for psoriatic arthritis along with the reset? Are there any adverse? Well, I like glutamine. And it's found in bone broth. Okay? I love glutamine. Why do I like glutamine? You're saying, do I like it for psoriatic arthritis? Yes, I'll tell you why. Because if someone has psoriatic arthritis, they have leaky gut, 100%. They got a fungal infection, 100%. So glutamine in bone broth helps repair the lining of your gut to mend it so that garbage doesn't get into your bloodstream. So yes, I like glutamine. You don't have to take it as a supplement. You can make your own bone broth if you want, because that has a lot of collagen and L-glutamine. When you eat steak, you get L-glutamine. Okay? That's why it's so good for your gut. And that's why yeast hates steak. Well, the fact is, yeast hates steak because it can't feed on it. Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie. Bonnie, recently had a scare and was hospitalized. She found out you have atrial fib. What does Dr. Martin think about atrial fib? And they put you on a blood thinner, and yeah, that's what they do. But why do I see today, I'm a why guy, you guys know that. Why today is there so much atrial fib? I'll tell you why. Because people, and this is a general answer, okay? There's exceptions. But generally, what's happened in the world? They got away from eating meat. Red meat has CoQ10. Your heart is a muscle. You need CoQ10. Here's what I found. over the years, when I saw atrial fibrillation, they were not eating enough meat. They were low in CoQ10. Their heart muscle wasn't strong enough. The heart was trying to make up for a lack of strength and a lack of magnesium. A lack of magnesium, too. I found that to be consistent in atrial fib. Okay? CoQ10, very important. Hey, think about this for a minute. Just think about this for a minute. You take a statin drug. You know what a statin drug is for? To lower cholesterol. Okay? I'm not going to comment on that. But I want to comment on this. You take a statin drug, and every dog knows when you take a statin drug, you destroy CoQ10. It's a side effect. 100%. And the most popular drug in the history of mankind is a statin drug called Lipitor. Its 100% side effect is it destroys CoQ10. Holy moly. I thought your heart was a muscle. Here they are, they're so worried about cholesterol. Cholesterol, 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 cholesterol. Let's lower cholesterol, lower, 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 lower. Get it down, get it down, get it down. It's the boogeyman. And we'll worry about the side effects after. No, they don't even worry about it. They give you a statin drug. How many prescriptions will be made today? How many prescriptions will be filled today? Do you know that that drug got to $1 trillion in sales? $1 trillion. The number one selling drug of all time is a statin drug. Okay? Now, if you are taking a statin drug, if a loved one is taking a statin drug, and they're not taking CoQ10, they're making a big mistake. And let me say this. A pharmacist that doesn't recommend CoQ10 when a person is taking a statin drug, when they're filling out the prescription, they should be telling, but they don't. And I'll tell you, they should be charged with malpractice. And you can tell your pharmacist that I said so. They should be charged with malpractice. That's CoQ10, it's 100% with a statin drug. And one of the reasons we see so much atrial fib today is people's heart muscle isn't strong enough. Because they don't get enough CoQ10. You got an enormous amount of battery packs in your heart muscle, mitochondria. You got a lot of battery packs up there. This is one of the reasons that I've always said that statins destroy your memory because of what they do to the mitochondria. Ooh. Okay. Bonnie, thanks for the question. Marlis, how are you? She was listening to a newscast that said there's a huge increase in colorectal cancer. True. Especially between the ages of 21 to 34. The lady they interviewed was blaming it on, was she a doctor? They were blaming it on increased sugar. Right. Especially high fructose corn syrup. There's a huge increase. But here's the second thing they said, and blamed it on an increased sugar in their diets and red meat. See, they can't help themselves. But you know, I'll tell you what, Marlis, think about this for a minute. In the last 30, 40 years, red meat consumption is down 40%. Sugar is up 300%. It's more than that. So they're right about sugar. And I don't know if they mentioned it or not, especially since the 1980s when they changed the sugar to high fructose corn syrup, the antichrist of sugars. But then they got to throw the red meat in there for their vegetarian and vegan friends. They got to put the propaganda in there. And they don't tell you that red meat consumption is down 40%. It'll be down even higher than that. Because they're teaching it even in school. They're indoctrinating kids today. Red meat, bad. Yeah, you can have a little bit of chicken if you want. But you can't eat red meat because it's acidic. It's cancer producing. It is bad. It is full of cholesterol. It's going to give you a heart attack. It's just the opposite. Sun, steak, and steel. And it's not even coming to a theater near you. It's already here, the book. I explain all of this in the book. I go into detail on this. But guys, don't be duped. Don't be duped. Okay, Marlis, very good question. Nativity, I use Himalayan salt, but now they're saying, Celtic salt is better. Well, good. Look, I like Celtic salt and I like Himalayan salt. The only salt I don't like is table salt. And that's what they put in foods, right? Like if they put salt in, they don't really put the salt. Table salt has been demineralized. It's been stripped of its nutrients. Hey, salty, you know that I love salt. I have a chapter in the book on salt. When you're dehydrated, it's not only water, it's usually salt too. And the thing that'll take salt out of your body is sugar. Okay, so I like both. Himalayan, if salt that you find there's more, Himalayan salt, good Himalayan salt's got 84 minerals, trace minerals. You find a Celtic one that's better, hey, good for you. Jenny, I've been reading on this. Can Dr. Martin give his input to peripheral neuropathy? I am concerned for my son. He's not a diabetic, but he has psoriatic arthritis and is on methotrexate for that. Well, listen. Psoriatic arthritis, I already answered the question, is leaky gut. It starts in the gut. He's got a fungal infection, 100%. The invasion of the invisible army has occurred in that your son's life. Okay? Now, why does he have peripheral neuropathy and not a diabetic? He could be a pre-diabetic. Okay? He could be I'll tell you another reason. Okay? Jenny. If his B12 is below 400, you start to get demyelination. You know what that is? The sheath that cover the nerves starts to get destroyed when you have low B, even though it's normal. Oh, doc, my B12 is 300. I said, okay, that's good for a mouse. You're not a mouse. You need to get it around 800 to 1200. Put it in the sweet spot of B12. And they don't even check it half the time. Doctors, B12. They don't even think of that. Listen, because he's on methotrexate. You know what methotrexate is, by the way? It's chemotherapy. It destroys vitamin B12. 100%. Okay? Look, I'm not saying get off the drug. I won't do that. All I'm saying is there's severe side effects. And one of them is it knocks the stuffing out of B12. And you can develop peripheral neuropathy. Good question, Jenny. Thanks for it. Barbara started to lose her balance about 4 years ago. Okay. Is it possible to get back to normal? Yeah, it's always possible. Look, usually that's a condition within the middle ear. Okay? It's a form sometimes of tinnitus without the buzzing. But it's in the middle ear usually. It has to do with the 10th cranial nerve. And sometimes it's an infection. I'll tell you one thing I would absolutely do because of glycation. Glycation, guys, okay, just a reminder, glycation is a byproduct of sugar. Sugar that attaches to protein. That can affect the nerves. And a lot of people find it surprises them. It doesn't surprise me, but it surprises them. Doc, I did the reset and my nerve pain was better. Or my muscle pain was better. Or my joint pain. What's the reset got to do with pain? Well, it does lower inflammation, but one thing it does, it lowers glycation. And glycation can affect the middle ear. I've seen it. I've seen it in tinnitus. I've seen it with balance problems. And affecting the cranial nerves. They get glycated. It's almost like they lose their elasticity. Okay? Even skin improves. Thanks for the question. We appreciate it. Barbara, Norma, what does Dr. Martin think about spinal decompression therapy? Well, I'm not against it. Okay? I'm not against it. Look, if you've got degenerative disc and you got spinal stenosis and you got problems, I'm not against decompression. Try it. Okay? I'm not. I used to tell my patients, if I thought hanging you upside down, okay, and I don't mean the inversion table. If I thought hanging you upside down from my roof would help, I'd go and hold your feet. Okay? So what does that tell you about me? Try it. What do I think of it? Well, it's not the be-all and end-all, okay? Believe you me when I tell you that. It can be beneficial. It's certainly a modality that I'm not against at all. Some people are really good at that, and they've got real good training in it, and I'm not against it. But when someone tells me, you got sciatica or you got this, and the only treatment is this, everything else, dismiss, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. Thanks for the question. Norma, Marnie. What does Dr. Martin think of nitro infused coffee? Marty, I don't know. Okay? I guess it's elevating your, your nitric oxide, right? I don't know. I like coffee. As long as it don't affect the taste, Marnie. Because I am a real tickler when it comes to coffee. Okay? Now, you got to read the chapter I have in the book, my new book on coffee. Okay? Yeah. I didn't just write about sun, steak, and steel, you know. I'm not against it. Okay? I haven't tried it. I'm fussy, okay? So if anything, I'm probably not going to affect the taste of it. But I am a big coffee drinker, and I'm telling you, and you know what, Marnie? I just got to tell you, people have been following me for 40-something years, almost 50. And one thing they'll tell you is I am consistent. 50 years of telling people. And you got to remember, in the 70s, there was a big thing on don't drink coffee. Okay? Because it's acidic. It's not good for you. Well, it's no good for you if you put 3 sugars in it. But I kept saying it. Nah, coffee's good for you. Coffee's got 1,000 phytonutrients. Coffee will elevate your nitric oxide. There's nothing negative about coffee. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? You can't get me off of that. I say this, Lord, if I can't drink coffee anymore, take me home. Country road. Well, that's a song. Okay. Now, thanks for the question, Marty. Rita, I've read that taking apple cider vinegar or vinegar is not good to take because it leaches out calcium out of the bone. Is this true? No, it's not true. No. Okay, and here's why, Rita. Okay, because you're asking a very good question, and I want you to think along with me. Let's get away from vinegar for a minute. Let's just talk about a tomato. A tomato. Everybody put their hand up if they believe a tomato is acidic. I got my hand up. It's acidic. It's pH. You're eating it. It's acidic. Is a lemon acidic? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But your body, Rita, has a buffering system. So when they tell you steak is acidic, it's full of, it's going to give you cancer because it's acidic. Don't believe that nonsense. You gotta have vegetables to make you alkaline. That's nonsense. It's not true. It's not true. You have a buffering system in your body that tightly regulates your pH. It regulates it tightly. And when you get ketoacidosis, okay, it's not because of ketosis. It's because your body now is shutting down and you're becoming acidic and your buffering system can't fix that. Diabetics can get that. And people that die of sepsis, they get that. Their body can't buffer anymore. The body's ability, especially the kidneys, can't buffer. And you become acidic. and you break down. But when you eat an acidic, so-called, okay, tomato, it's acidic. Is it good for you? Of course it's good for you. Because your body has a buffering system that turns that acidity to alkalinity. Okay? So when you're taking apple cider vinegar, I'm not against, I like apple cider vinegar. You don't live on it. And it doesn't, I remember, because I had a radio show and 20 years ago or so, okay? Apple cider vinegar, it fixes from warts on your nose to gangrene in your toes. Dr. Martin, mother's apple cider vinegar. It fixes everything. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes. I used to hear it on the radio. I said, no, it don't. I'm not saying it's no good. But when they tell you it fixes everything, when someone tells you they have the cure for cancer and they're hiding it, no, they don't. They don't have the cure for cancer. Well, not that they can make money from. I know, guys. Look, okay. So, let me get back. I get a little excited. I want to answer the question, okay? Is it good for you? Yeah, and it don't leach calcium out of your bone because by the time it gets into your system, now it can help with stomach acidity, can make your stomach more acid for a few minutes. Okay, I'm not against that. But once it gets into the small intestine, it's neutralized. It's buffered. Because your body's unbelievable ability to buffer. Okay? Thanks for the question. Rita, Eileen, what are some of the suggestions for natural way to treat dermatitis? Start inside out. Eileen, inside out. You got dermatitis, you got leaky gut, 100%. You got dermatitis, almost 100%. You got a fungal infection. The invasion of the Third Army. You don't have enough good bacteria and you got leaky gut and you need to patch up the gut and replace the bacteria. Start there. Start there. Eliminate all sugar. Watch what happens. Stephanie, glutamine again for psoriatic arthritis. Okay, are there any adverse side effects? I think that I thought I answered that up there. Yeah. Oh, it just was written twice. Okay, Steph, I already answered that. Thank you for the question. John, why do antibiotics kill both good and bad bacteria, but oil of oregano only kills the bad bacteria? Okay? John, I love the question. It's a good question. Listen. Broad spectrum antibiotics. What makes them effective? They kill the infection. Okay? It's like friendly fire. You know, you got a machine gun guy, shooting, and he kills the bad guys. Unfortunately, he's killing the good guys too. In a way, that's what makes an antibiotic effective. It's powerful. Thank God for antibiotics. Right? It's just like the son who's taking the chemotherapy. Well, maybe look, I don't want to get into a discussion too much, but if the only thing that's keeping rheumatoid arthritis down or psoriatic arthritis or whatever is methotrexate, it's a chemotherapy. It works, but there's a lot of side effects to it. That's the problem with an antibiotic. Now, if you have a raging infection, and you were to call me, I would tell you to get on an antibiotic so fast it would make your head spin. I wouldn't be telling you to take oil of oregano and just pray that it works. I wouldn't tell you that. I'm not saying I wouldn't tell you to take oil of oregano with an antibiotic. Oil of oregano is a wonderful antibacterial. It is. It's a natural antibiotic. It's also naturally antiviral. Antibiotics do not work on a virus. It's one of the reasons we overuse them. It's one of the reasons that they don't work like they used to, because they've been given out like candy when they shouldn't be. Oil of oregano is wonderful. But if you got a raging infection, you're not going to hear me tell you, ask how many patients that I said, you need an antibiotic, my friend. You don't want to fool around with that. But just understand the side effects. They'll kill all your good guys too. Whereas oil of oregano doesn't. But it's not as effective in a raging infection. You understand what I'm saying by that, do you? Okay? I think I explained it, John. Thanks for the question. Better get going. Holy moly. I've been talking too much. Okay. Okay, we did Eileen, we did John. Kathy, what is my opinion on sleep apnea, its effect on heart health? Use the CPAC to treat it in the case testing. Well, look, Kathy, if you would go into my podcast, go on your smart device or whatever, look for all my podcasts. You'll see I have more than one, I know that, where I just talk about sleep apnea. Here's the big thing in sleep apnea. Here's what I've always said about it. Sleep apnea, fatty tongue. It's insulin. It's not oxygen. Yeah, you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. Why? And why is it an epidemic today? Fatty tongue. Like fatty liver. And most people with sleep apnea have some form of fatty liver. Why? Because they're bad eaters. Mostly. They're carboholics. Okay? Now, I'm not against the machines. I'm not, but it don't fix it. It helps, but it doesn't fix the problem. Big thing is diet. Okay, Beb. What do I think of shaga? I like it. My grandfather used to use it. That's a mushroom. A fungal that grows on trees, mostly. Do I like it? Yeah, my grandfather used it. Let me say this again. When they tell you it cures everything, run. Because I had to go through that again on my radio show. Dr. Martin, chaga tea, chaga. I said, yeah, I like it. But it doesn't cure everything from warts on your nose to pimples on your toes. It don't. But it's good. I like it. Okay? Okay. Okay, Rhoda. Can you take too much vitamin D3 and K2? Or can too much vitamin D3 and K2 cause hair loss? No. Well, no. Now, you can take too much vitamin D and K2. I've never seen it. But you can. They're both fat-soluble vitamins. It's possible. But it's not going to cause hair loss. As a matter of fact, it would be the opposite of that. Okay? There's no reason for it. Okay, which one of the hormonal support and menopausal support, Susan? Or should take automatically both? It depends. It depends, Susan. You send me an email and let me know what your symptoms are, and I'll tell you what to do. Okay? Hormonal support, gee, if we ever get that thing back. Oh, anyway. It lowers estrogen. Menopausal support elevates progesterone. That's what they're made for. That's why there's two different products. Okay? One, elevate. And when you elevate your progesterone, you're diminishing. It's like a teeter-totter. If your progesterone goes up, estrogen will balance itself out in a lot of ways. But I love my hormonal formula to dim out estrogen. I had thousands of patients on that. Pseudo gout, specifically what? Well, look, gout is uric acid. Pseudo gout is calcific, calcium levels. Calcific goes up. Here's me. When your uric acid goes up, okay? And a lot of people have high uric acid without having gout. What did I always tell you about gout? It's insulin. It's fructose more than anything. That's for the uric. Pseudo, here's what I think, okay? It's all at the kidney level. You're dehydrated. Not enough water and not enough salt. Not enough water and not enough salt. Pseudo gout. Okay? Very good question, Jennifer. You know what? I think I'm going to do a program on that again and talk about the two. I think it's a really good question. Linda, I have edema after a bad fall. This is the last one. Swollen ankles and legs. Okay, the doctor prescribed diuretic. Well, look, I don't like diuretics because I think it's looking for love in all the wrong places, okay? Now, if you, after a bad fall and you've got edema in your legs, you know what? Start with diet. Make sure you're drinking enough water. I tell you, they'll tell you not to drink water. You drink some salty water, okay? And you might have circulation issues, and you know, I don't know if you can move much or, you know, get moving, Linda, if you can, okay? And if you're getting a lot of itching and burning, usually that's insulin. And it could be a coincidence that after an injury, your inflammation went up, and maybe because you were immobilized or whatever, your insulin resistance went up. But I would do the reset. Drink water, drink some salty water, and watch what happens. Okay, guys. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. We're well on our way. I'm going to tell you after day one. Yesterday was day one on our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. We're well on our way to it becoming a bestseller. Yep. Well on our way. And thanks to you guys. Spread the word. Sun, steak, and steel. And sleep. And coffee. And salt. What other chapters do I have in there? The reset. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.